shot him in the face. Move forward!
God, gross. Freaking idiot.
What's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 54th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. So I am excited for the Dockery Docket, but I don't really like talking about what we're about to talk about because this week was very stressful, it was very chaotic, and it was really just a terrible, terrible, horrible week for the United States of America. But before we do that, dear viewer, I think we need to go back and clear up some things that may have been missed from different Dockery Docket episodes. Back in the last episode, called The State of the Docket, I said that one of my main goals for the Dockery Docket was to make sure that conservatives felt confident and have the willpower to stand up for what they believe in. This, of course, is still true, as it seems like conservatives have been too soft, and we are too scared of people calling us racist, sexist, or homophobic for stating facts that aren't even that controversial. Standing up and speaking out means being peaceful, and having a civil conversation with someone that may have a different opinion than yours. It is trying to change someone's mind so then they can see your worldview, and you can see their worldview. Speaking up and speaking out also means that if there were a situation when someone calls you a name like a racist or a sexist, you have the right to stand up for yourself because you know that name isn't true. In my videos, I have been very, very consistent on different issues, but one of those issues is the idea of protesting. I believe that I have at least 8 episodes where I talk about protesting, and I can add them all in the description down below if you want to go check them out. One of the episodes where I talked about protesting was in episode 25, where people stormed into the Michigan State Capitol building, which was of course wrong and definitely stupid. In that episode, I went after these different rioters, as I said this, and this led to a protest happening on Thursday in Michigan. And if you watched episode 23, you know that I said that you can protest, but it would be better to protest in a different way. This is not what I meant, guys, as this group of people stormed into the Capitol with guns and were yelling at police. Listen, I want the government to open up as well. I think that it is time to reopen up the government and get back to work. But if you are going to do crap like this, then we may never reopen again. A perfect protest on the government right now would be for people to go to the Capitol with masks, with gloves, 6 feet apart from each other, and doing the chant or something like that. This way, the government or the media won't have anything mean to say about you. If you want the media to stop calling you crazy, then stop being crazy and be a little bit more smart. If you don't want the media to call you a Nazi, then don't hang up Nazi flags. It's that easy, okay? And if you don't want them to say that you're white rednecks, don't hang up the Confederate flag either. Then, throughout the summer, there were protests and riots that were happening all across the country. In episode 29, I spoke again about what was happening, and even described what a riot was. This definition still holds on today. Take a listen to this. And this led to many protests all across America. These protests have been very interesting because recently they have seemed to be very peaceful during the day. You know, people are walking around, they're walking down the streets, they're doing different chants, they have a bunch of different signs. That's fine. That's okay. You are protected to do that by the First Amendment. Then the sun goes down, and this is usually where chaos ensues. And these protests in some areas turn into full-out riots. Now, I want to make sure this is 100% clear. A riot is different than a peaceful protest. A riot is when someone, or a group of people, decide to cause violence, start fires that are not needed, throw bricks at law enforcement, and overall cause damage. I have written and created many different episodes talking about the idea of protesting and trying to tell people to not be violent because it just doesn't work and it solves absolutely nothing. And being peaceful does. I mentioned this recently in episode 52 as I said this. Now, this whole episode is not a call to violence at all. I want no violence. However, if we are going to protest these lockdowns, we need to do it right. We need to wear masks, be on public property, and we need to make sure that the area is cleaner than how we left it. This way, the media has nothing to cover, and we on our part look good. The point of this little ramble that I'm going on is that we need to hold the government accountable, and we can do this by doing it the right way. Peace, not violence. No violence at all. I have called out both sides for protesting the wrong way. And in every single situation, I have said that there is a right way to protest and there is a wrong way to protest. We know that we have a constitutional right to protest. However, we don't have a constitutional right to act like stupid idiots. This leads me to talk about the events that took place on January 6th, 2021. A day that will probably be remembered for a very, very long time, maybe for the rest of our lives. It was an important day in Washington, D.C., as it was the day that Congress would confirm the results of the Electoral College, and in the past, this has been a usually peaceful process. However, the peace was destroyed by a bunch of idiots that stormed into the Capitol of the United States. Some of these idiots just seemed to stroll in like they were on a Capitol building tour or something like that. This event that took place was the stupidest, craziest, and the outright most despicable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Everyone should be condemning these people that did this. Now, I won't sugarcoat anything. These people were Trump supporters. And it is crazy for me to think that these people are the people that support my party. The party that stands for law and order. The party of the thin blue line. The party of the rule of law. How was it that all of that was just thrown out the window? These people do not represent me or my party because I know that my party is better than this crap that was displayed at the Capitol building. So while they claim to be Trump supporters and Republicans, what they really are is scum. They are thugs, and they should go to jail for a very, very long time and be condemned, once again, by everyone. Now, my question for every single one of those rioters that broke into the Capitol is simply this. What did you accomplish? Oh, you got Nancy Pelosi's lectern and became a funny meme? Good for you, I guess. Oh, you got a sweet video of you in Nancy Pelosi's office? You broke some windows, you broke some doors, all for nothing. In this event, 5 people were killed. One of them was a military veteran that had served in the Air Force for 14 years. She and the other 4 victims didn't have to die. These rioters didn't save democracy or the republic. Instead, they did the opposite. They split the country more right down the middle. Congratulations. The left now hates the right more, and the right hates the left more. All of this because stupid people did one of the stupidest things in modern American history. They had no goals, they had no plans, and they were all just a bunch of idiots. Now listen. I understand that many people on the right thought that the election was stolen or there was some fraud involved, and if we are going to be honest, I believed this too at the very beginning. I thought that there were voting irregularities that needed to be looked into. However, my opinion changed when the Electoral College met and confirmed that Joe Biden had won. I knew that at that moment there was no pathway for Donald Trump to win the presidency. His lawsuits failed, and it was over. Many people that I love asked me, do you think that Trump has a chance? And I flat out told them no. And they were shocked. My brain was already fixed on 2022 and taking back the House of Representatives and getting ready for 2024. Now, I'm not even sure if the Republican Party will be around to see 2022 or even 2024. This may be a stretch on my part, but it is something that we must consider. Now, some of you might be thinking, Kyle, you are overreacting. And in 2 to 4 years, no one will be talking about this. Well, with all due respect, hypothetical viewer, you are wrong. The media already calls us racist, sexist, homophobic bigots. Go ahead and add terrorists to the list. It is a sad reality, but I don't think Republicans understand just how serious the situation is. We as Republicans have already lost everything. The House, the Senate, the presidency. We have absolutely nothing. And instead of looking to the future, stupid people thought that they could overturn this election by storming the Capitol. And there are still people that are saying, well, what if Trump does this? Or what if Congress does that? Or what if the Supreme Court does this? They don't get it. They can't get it through their thick skulls that it's over. Trump lost. We have to get over it and move on. And instead of doing this, instead of moving on from a defeat, people took matters into their own hands. And this is why I believe that this may be the last time we ever see a Republican president again. Heck, we may never even see Donald Trump again. Twitter's already banned him. Facebook has banned him. Instagram has banned him. We might never hear or see from him ever again. This whole situation was more than just a tweet from Donald Trump or something that Donald Trump said. This was people storming into the Capitol. That is the center for democracy. And these idiots tried to destroy that. The Democrats will not forget about this. And they will continue to lay it at the feet of the Republican Party for a very, very long time. And this is why I believe that this could be the end of the party, as the Democrats will use this situation as an advantage every single time. Whenever a Republican runs for president or for the Senate or for the House or any other position, they will play these videos of people storming the Capitol. They will show the picture of the people in the chamber pointing guns at the window. They will claim that this is the Republican Party. This will be their new narrative for the next 4 to 25 years. And the Democrats have already started with this. One representative named Corey Brown wants to get rid of every single Republican that wanted to change the election, mostly Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, who had a plan to try and get the votes audited. But Mrs. Brown might change her opinion and want every single Republican banned. Then, the new Senate Majority Leader attacked all Republicans. That's right, if you voted for Donald Trump, you are responsible for this stupidity. Just take a listen to this crap.
Now, January 6th will go down as one of the darkest days in recent American history. A final warning to our nation about the consequences of a demagogic president, the people who enable him, the captive media that parrots his lies, and the people who follow him as he attempts to push America to the brink of ruin.
That's right, if you like Trump over Biden, you are responsible for the siege on the Capitol. You listen to conservative podcasts, your favorite being the Dockery Docket, then you are responsible for the siege at the White House. The issue with this statement is that this could have been a great time for everyone to come together and say, hey, we can all agree that this was a terrible thing that happened. Every single Republican that I've heard make a statement about this have said that it was wrong. I haven't heard one Republican say that this was a great thing that happened and they were glad that it happened. However, I do believe that this will be a stain on the Republican Party. And all of this is why I feel very, very, very hopeless. Now, all of the major Republicans have said that they condemn this, but there are some people online that have tried to defend these different riots from happening. And some people have said, well, Black Lives Matter burned down a whole city. Why can't we storm the Capitol? The answer to that question is simple. Both the Black Lives Matter riots and the Capitol riots were wrong and shouldn't have happened at all. If both Black Lives Matter and these Trump supporters were in Washington, D.C. with their flags saying different chants, then there is nothing wrong with that at all. This is protected under the First Amendment, which I mentioned at the very start of this video. I can confirm to you for both of these different events that there were probably people that were trying to do the right thing. They were just marching. They weren't causing any violence at all. It really does stink that a small group of people can destroy the meaning of a whole movement. However, the fact is simple, and is true for both Republicans and Democrats. No matter who is rioting, black, white, or yellow, when you start destroying property or start killing people, it becomes wrong every single time. No exception at all. If you are a person that hated the Black Lives Matter riots and are now saying that the rioters that stormed into the Capitol are okay, then you are a hypocrite. Along with this, if you justified all the Black Lives Matter riots over the summer and are now saying that these rioters that stormed into the Capitol are wrong, then you are a hypocrite as well. Both were violent, and both should have been condemned by everyone. I do understand the fact that people are pointing at the media and calling them hypocrites, as when the Black Lives Matter protests were happening, happening, the media was saying that it was all just a peaceful protest, while there was a fire literally 25 feet away from the reporter. The mayor of Seattle called CHOP the Summer of Love, while people were being killed. And then news reporters like Chris Cuomo got on live TV and said, "Who said protests have to be peaceful? The Constitution, you idiot." My point is this. If this siege on the Capitol happened and Trump came on TV and said that it was the summer of love and that the rioters weren't hurting anything, then that night Tucker Carlson got on TV and said, "Hey, who said that this had to be a peaceful protest?" Then the left would rightfully be angry. The media and everyone else should have treated both of these different riot situations the same way, and that is condemning any form of violence, no matter what party it is coming from. That should be a very, very simple fact. Violence is bad. While the left and the media have been hypocritical, I believe that the right has been hypocritical as well. As during the Black Lives Matter protests, the right, including me, was saying that we need to respect the police and the rule of law. Thin blue line flags are being sold all over the place. Then I see videos of those same people hitting police officers and disobeying them, hitting them with sticks and pushing past them. That's not right. And you are a hypocrite if you did this and then say, "Well, I backed the blue." It was also reported that a police officer was taken to the hospital in critical condition as he was hit in the head with a fire extinguisher. Later on in the day, he got worse and tragically passed away. Once again, as I've already said before, he didn't have to die. Literally, no one had to die in this situation. But because we are dealing with people with literally 2 brain cells, it means that we have to fix the situation before it happens again. To me, both sides are being very hypocritical. And all that I want is for people to protest the right way, peacefully, where there's no violence, no loss of life, and everyone can just say their chants, have their signs, and then go home. In the end, violence is violence, and violence is wrong. I could care less about who is doing it. And for us Republicans who still may think that Donald Trump is going to win, it is time for us to face the facts. Joe Biden will be sworn in on January 20th, and President Trump has already said that he wants a peaceful transfer of power, which is a little too late, but still good, I guess. Anyway, Joe Biden has claimed that he will be a uniting president, and to be honest, I don't think that he has it in him. This isn't anything against Joe Biden. The fact is, I don't think that this country has been more divided since the Civil War. Everyone hates each other right now, and I don't think that it will cool down anytime soon. The salt is being poured on the wound as Donald Trump and many other prominent conservatives have been banned from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This will just cause more people to get more mad. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if another siege happens again in the future, but I pray to God that it won't. I also pray that the idiots won't take us over. And of course, that I won't get banned from any social media platforms, which is why you should subscribe and hit the bell and follow me on all social media platforms. They're in the description down below. This week was a very, very, very rough week. It took me a long time to write this episode because there was so much information coming in. So let's try and make next week better, okay? Please. I beg of you. And until next week, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.